21-inch spoke wheel. Full crash cage. Skid plate. Hybrid foot pegs. I like this too. It's cool. Replaceable case cover. We are now on the 2023 V-Strom 1050 DE. I will note there is a big difference between the regular and the DE. The DE is the off-road friendly version with a 21-inch tire, more aggressive foot pegs, and a crash cage. That is the regular 1050 over there. I have to say the DE does actually look better. The foot pegs are super wide, super duper wide. Makes it a little awkward to walk around. It is a V-twin engine, unlike the other V-Strom, which was a parallel twin. Has a slight whistle to it, and these pegs are in inconvenient places. Unlike the 800, the 1050 has cruise control, has a couple other trick bits to it, has crash cages, but the gauges are identical. Same gauges on the 800 as it has on the 1050. Big TFT screen with the big gear indicator, which I love seeing gear indicators. Guy on the GT stalled and almost fell over. I like the V-twin power. It reminds me a lot of my buddy's old SV1000 actually. Back in the day. There is an adjustable windscreen, but the adjustments need tools to change. There's different mounting holes so you can raise and lower it. It's not super convenient, but that does help keep down on manufacturing costs because you don't have to worry about mechanisms. But I do like this mounting bar. You could use this mounting bar for things like a GPS or a camera. That's pretty useful. A lot of guys will manufacture or buy aftermarket ones for their bikes to put additional gauges and stuff up there. So it's cool that they have one from the factory there. There's also a 12-volt power plug. It says it's rated up to 24 amps, which is actually pretty impressive. So you could run GPS, phone charger, all kinds of stuff through there and not have to worry about having a strain on your battery. So I was thinking about comparing this to the Versys 1000, but I think this is more off-road friendly than the Versys 1000, which is like a sport touring of sorts. I'd say this is more comparable to like a Tenere, the Super Tenere, which is a Yamaha bike and actually has a bigger engine. It's a 1200. I think this feels more nimble and something more able to go into the woods than the Super Tenere. That's a viable option for somebody who's looking for a high CC displacement woods toy. Suzuki does sell aftermarket bags for it, so you could get hard cases. There are mounting points on the rear fender, so you can hard mount it to the subframe. Suspension's pretty good, comparable to the 800 was. Might even be the same suspension actually. Now one thing I noticed that this one does have that the 800 didn't have was linked brakes. So you hit the front brakes, it'll actually actuate the back brakes too. Very tall seat height. For reference, I'm 6 foot. I've got about a 32-inch inseam. I can flat foot it if my feet are behind the pegs, but if I go in front of the pegs, which is where my legs naturally want them to go, because of where the pegs are, I have to tiptoe it. This bike definitely has the torque to do wheelies. Can feel that just by being in first gear going over some bumps. Obviously I can't do wheelies. The lead rider told me that if I do any wheelies, he's gonna kick me off the bike and make me do 30 push-ups and then walk home. So I could do the push-ups, but I don't want to walk home in this heat. Seems like a lot of the Suzukis are going with the throttle by wire rather than a cable driven. This one, it does have a hydraulic clutch though, which I see a lot of the higher end bikes doing as well. we've gone past this field on the demo rides and I'm like, man, I want to go ride in that. Obviously I can't. State park and demo rides and, you know, illegal activities, so gotta keep it safe. It sounds good with the factory exhaust even, you know, V-twin power, just got that grunt to it. Let's try standing, see how this tank feels. You know, honestly, I think the 800 had a better feeling seat to grab. I'm just wearing regular work boots right now, so I don't have off-road or motocross boots on. But there isn't really a smooth place to grab onto. You can use your heels, you can grab with your ankles or on the foot pegs themselves, but around the seat pan and the tank, not the best. These foot pegs definitely take some getting used to. Power delivery is great. I think it has very usable power. How's the highway feel? It's got some get up and go. A decent bit of buffeting, but it's not terrible. I tell you though, being a V-twin, it puts out a lot of heat by my ankles because it's got that rear-facing cylinder. As always, I hope you found this helpful. I do like sharing my experiences with you and hopefully teaching you something or two about the bikes that you may or may not be interested in. I don't do this necessarily for me, I do it for you guys, so if you could, subscribe to the channel, encourage me to do some more content, and get out there and ride some more bikes for you. I really enjoyed the bike. I think that it was built really well. The 1050 is a chassis that's been around for a bit. People do like the bike a lot for its off-road capabilities. I've seen a lot of comparisons to it between the BMW 1250 and then also even the Honda Africa Twin. I think the Africa Twin is a great comparison to it. A lot of people, it's almost like a cult classic style bike. People love the Africa Twin. I'm not sure which I'd go with. I haven't ridden the Twin, but on paper they seem very comparable in price, features, and also function. So I think it's a good thing to consider. I really enjoyed it, and for about $15,000, it's a lot of bike for the value. Hopefully this helps. Hopefully my insight helps you make a decision on whether or not you want to go ride it, if you want to go sit on it. It's worth looking at though. It's a cool bike. Go check it out. Have fun out there and stay safe.